Welcome to Deep Roots, Open Skies, a podcast dedicated to exploring the defining moments that shape our lives. I'm your host, Lakisa. Have you ever faced a crossroads that made you question everything? Maybe you found yourself standing at the edge, contemplating a leap into the unknown. In today's episode, we'll dive into a story that resonates with many educators. My heartfelt choice to step away from a cherished teaching career and embrace what lay ahead. As we begin, let's talk about a concerning trend in our educational system today. According to recent studies, nearly 50% of teachers are considering leaving the profession within the next 5 years, citing burnout, lack of support, and increasingly demanding workloads. Our educational environment can often feel like a pressure cooker, leaving teachers feeling undervalued and overwhelmed. Let's just be honest. That kind of climate doesn't just affect us. It trickles down and impacts our students too. So join me as we explore the fears, hopes, and transformative experiences that come from making such a brave decision in leaving a profession that has long been regarded as a cornerstone of our society. Together, we'll navigate this complex landscape and reflect on the resilience required to pursue new paths. Now, here we go. Picture this: a bustling fourth grade classroom filled with laughter, the scent of freshly sharpened pencils, and the preparations for lunch flowing through the air. I was in my element, not just as a teacher, but as a mentor and a guide. I was the teacher who made learning fun. We cooked in class to understand fractions, held America's Got Talent competitions to showcase our writing skills, and ventured outside to capture geometric patterns in nature. My students didn't just memorize facts, they lived the lessons. But behind those colorful bulletin boards and enthusiastic smiles, there was a different story. Teaching required immense dedication and time. I spent countless hours at school, often rising before the sun and staying well past sunset, pouring my heart and soul into my work. Now you have those who would say, at least you have weekends, holidays, and summers off. But a lot of those were often consumed with lesson planning and preparations for the upcoming year. Well, at least for me. I couldn't go into a store without thinking, can I use this for class? I spent a small fortune on supplies, enough to make my husband raise an eyebrow and say, we don't have a lot of money for that in your classroom. But there was a silver lining. My 2 daughters could join me at school. They had tackled their homework alongside me, doing those long evenings, making the most of the time together. And let me tell you, there's nothing quite like the sound of your daughter asking for help with her math homework while you're trying to grade papers. Multitasking at its finest. But as fate would have it, when I decided to quit, my home was not in the school zone where I taught. My heart sank at the realization that my first grader and sixth grader would have to leave the only school that had ever known and transition to an unfamiliar environment. I hadn't anticipated how my decision would ripple through my family, affecting not just my career, but their education and stability. Let me introduce you to some of my students, the delightful cast of characters who made each day an adventure. First, there was Spider-Man Pajama Kid, who wore his superhero attire every day and thought the classroom was his personal playground. I swear, one day I caught him hanging from the bookshelves, claiming he was just testing gravity. Meanwhile, another student needed a pillow to feel secure and a service animal. Talk about a classroom of contrast. And then we had Little Boss Man. This kid had an air of authority that could put some CEOs to shame. He believed he was the self-appointed ruler of the classroom, the baller shot caller. And let me tell you, he did not stay seated. I'll be mid-sentence explaining fractions, and there he was, strutting around like he was on a catwalk, demanding everyone's attention. "Can I get a vote on whether we should do science or art today?" he would say, as if we were running a democracy. I come from a long line of educators. My family was deeply rooted in teaching. My mom is a retired teacher with over 30 years in the classroom, and I grew up watching her inspire countless students. When I was younger, I would play school with my teddy bears and dolls, and let me tell you, I knew how to discipline those stuffed animals. So when it came time to make a decision, a career decision, it was a no-brainer for my family. They expected it, and I embraced it. I love the hands-on aspects of teaching so much that I even pursued an administrative certification. I was just 5 courses shy of completing my degree when I had to make a tough choice. I realized that moving into administration would take me away from the classroom, away from what I truly loved. I cherished the camaraderie with my fellow teachers. We worked as a cohesive unit, determined to ensure our students left our classes knowing something substantial. You weren't going to leave us without knowing anything. I mean, where else could I dress up as Diana Ross to discuss a timeline of music or channel my inner 1980s rapper to teach money concepts? I even created a parody called Baby Got Bank to the tune of Baby Got Back. And let's not forget the time I dressed up as an old lady to teach division while navigating the challenges of new math, a concept that some students just couldn't grasp. Teaching wasn't just a job. It was a performance, a creative outlet, and a community. However, as the year progressed, I began to feel the weight of my responsibilities. My students were wonderful, but I was facing significant personal challenges that made every day feel like a struggle. My family seemed to be going through a rough patch. My husband was under immense stress, and his behavior seemed unpredictable, adding tension to my home life. I often felt like I was walking on eggshells, trying to manage his mood swings and my health while also keeping our household running smoothly. In the classroom, I was dealing with one of the most demanding groups of students I had ever encountered. Parental involvement was at an all-time low, which left me feeling unsupported as I tried to address the needs of my students. Many of them were struggling academically and emotionally, and I felt a profound sense of responsibility to help them succeed. Yet, despite my best efforts, I found myself questioning everything I once held dear about teaching. I was that teacher who had dedicated years to shaping young minds, yet there I was, feeling increasingly overwhelmed and underappreciated. I was pouring my heart and soul into my work, but it felt like I was fighting a battle alone. Each day felt like a call to resign, a whisper urging me to explore something beyond the classroom walls. I felt trapped in a cycle of stress and exhaustion, longing for a sense of relief and clarity in my life. Reflecting on the previous year, I remember the teamwork I shared with 4 like-minded teachers in my pod. We were a tight-knit team, passionate about our subjects and committed to our students. I taught math and science, while my colleagues focused on their areas of expertise. We worked together effortlessly, even with one teacher whose leniency sometimes seems challenging or created challenges. Unfortunately, the lenient teachers class would often come to me seemingly charged with energy drinks, which made classroom management a challenge. The students would burst into my room with an exuberance that was difficult to contain. I had my own indulgence during that time, an addiction to ginger ale, specifically the ones in glass bottles, which I found refreshing. One day, a student from the lenient teacher's classroom accused me of drinking beer, pointing at my green glass bottle of ginger ale. It looked like a Heineken bottle, and I couldn't help but wonder how he even knew what a beer bottle would look like. This is 4th grade. I guess he told his parents, and the following day, the assistant principal came to my classroom to investigate. She walked in without saying a word, but I could see in her eyes, scanning the room. She noticed the bottle on my desk, picked it up, and remarked, "Ginger ale?" I nodded, eager to explain my love for the soda. But she quickly transitioned to relay the situation regarding a call from the concerned parent of one of my students. I recognized the family. I had taught their older son a few years earlier, and they had specifically requested me to teach their younger son. I understood the need for the administrator to check in, but on the other hand, I was that teacher who was always at school early and late. I had worked tirelessly to improve my students' math scores, which had increased tremendously through the year. I thought to myself, I can't do this drunk, not me. It was a moment that left me feeling vulnerable and exposed, questioning my reputation and dedication as an educator. It was just ginger ale. The moment I decided to leave came unexpectedly. On a cold, chilly November day, I walked into the principal's office, my heart racing, and handed in my resignation. The weight of that decision felt both liberating and terrifying. But my journey didn't end there. I had to make my departure official at the school district's central office, where I was met with a daunting scene. There were 2 or 3 administrators staring me down as if I were about to rob a bank with my resignation letter. They deployed every tactic in the book to make me reconsider. "How are you going to survive now?" one asked, leaning in with an inward brow. Another shot, "What will you do if your husband leaves you?" Do they know something I don't? It would have been nice to hear a few words of encouragement for my extraordinary accomplishments instead. You see, I wasn't just any teacher. I led my 1st grade team to the Science Olympiad Championship. I was on our principal's leadership team, served as the 4th grade representative, and was nominated year after year for Teacher of the Year. Yet there I stood, feeling like a stranger in my own district, defending my choice to leave a career that had become a significant part of my identity. Now I want to take a moment to reflect on a broader issue affecting educators today. Many teachers are leaving the classroom, and the reasons are multifaceted. According to recent studies, burnout, low pay, lack of support, and increased workloads are among the top reasons educators are stepping away. In earlier times, teaching was expected as a noble profession, but in recent years, the demands have escalated, leaving many feeling undervalued and overwhelmed. School districts need to take proactive measures to retain teachers. Strategies could include providing better mental health resources, offering competitive salaries, and fostering a supportive environment that encourages collaboration among staff. Mentorship programs for new teachers can create a sense of community, while regular check-ins can help identify issues before they lead to burnout. It's essential to prioritize teachers' well-being to ensure they can continue to inspire the next generation. For those educators considering a transition out of teaching, I want to share some valuable tips and resources. First, start by reflecting on your skills and interests. Many teachers possess transferable skills like communication, organization, and leadership that can be applied in various fields. Consider taking career assessment tests or speaking with a career coach to explore your options. I use my interest in growth as my compass, looking for appreciation, flexibility, and advancement. Networking can be incredibly beneficial. Connect with former colleagues who have made similar transitions, join professional organizations, or attend workshops and conferences in your area of interest. Online platforms like LinkedIn can also be a great resource for making connections in new fields. Additionally, consider pursuing professional development opportunities that align with your new career goals. Whether it's taking online courses or attending seminars, continuous learning can enhance your skill set and make you more competitive in the job market. Websites such as Coursera and edX offer courses that can help you pivot into a different career. Lastly, don't hesitate to seek support, whether it's from family, friends, or professional groups. Having a network to lean on during your transition can make a world of difference. Change can be frightening, but remember, you don't have to be alone in this journey. But then something remarkable happened. Just as a month later, I landed a position at a local university as a transition teacher for inclusive post-secondary students. The moment I stepped into this new role, it felt like stepping out of the confined walls of an elementary school and into a world filled with open skies. To be free in higher education seemed like a breath of fresh air compared to the rigid structure of my previous job. This new position allowed me to network extensively, even lobbying at the state capitol to speak with legislatures about the importance of instructive, inclusive post-secondary education. I expanded my presentation skills and leadership development by creating programs and designing content to help students receive career training. I was no longer confined to a classroom where I had to worry about unruly students while I dashed to the restroom. I could finally take a break without the nagging thought that my students might stage a coup in my absence. These experiences became stepping stones to what was to come. I realized that my decision to leave teaching opened doors to opportunities I never imagined possible. Even though I was no longer in the classroom, I still thought about my students, hoping they were learning and safe. Keep in mind that when I left teaching, I still had over 120 days left of sick leave. I dedicated my all. Through this journey, I learned powerful lessons that resonate deeply with me. Don't be afraid to take big leaps in life. It's okay to pursue joy and growth, even if it means leaving behind what you know. Remember, change can be scary, but it can also lead to incredible opportunities. Embrace the unknown, for it is often where we find our true selves. I learned that resilience is rooted in strength and determination. Life will throw challenges your way, but how we respond to those challenges defines our path. Trust in your journey, lean into your passions, and never underestimate the power of your voice. You have the strength to rise above, to shape your destiny, and to inspire others along the way. So as you navigate your own crossroads, remember, you are capable, you are strong, and you are deserving of your life filled with purpose and joy. The sky's the limit, and you got this. In our next episodes, we'll dive deeper into the themes of resilience and the strength it takes to embrace the change. I hope my story resonates with you. Whether you're navigating a career shift, groveling with personal challenges, or simply seeking inspiration in your own life, remember it's never too late to rewrite your narrative. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Deep Roots, Open Skies. Until next time, embrace your journey and keep exploring the possibilities.